Let's talk about the gearing situation on Final Fantasy XIV because that seems to have been a hot topic lately. A lot of Final Fantasy XIV content creators are making these videos talking about item level and the gearing situation on Final Fantasy XIV. And first and foremost, the only people that's crying about the gearing situation being what it is now are the hardcore raiders. Whereas the casual players, it doesn't really matter to us. As long as we make minimum item level to do the content, we're fine. And as for the gear gating, well, that's universal. It affects everybody. It ain't just the hardcore raiders. See, the hardcore raiders, they feel like they're not getting geared up fast enough, especially those who run in a static. They can't roll switch because maybe their tank isn't geared up for it. So if somebody wants them to tank in the static, they can't do it. They can only heal because they have their healer gear, if that makes sense. People are getting kicked out of their statics and all this other shit, and it's like, look, the gearing system for the hardcore raiders is a bit rough, I may say, because that shit's RNG, but it's almost certain that you should get a piece of gear regardless. If you run in a static, like, you should get a piece of gear. Actually, hold on. Let me, actually, no, I'll take that back. No, that shit's RNG. So I kind of understand why they're trying, but they want to get best in slot gear the first week whenever the highest item level gear comes out. And that doesn't really make sense. If you really look at the gearing system on Final Fantasy XIV, it's literally a balance. It keeps players playing the game, because if hardcore raiders were to just get best in slot week 1, they're probably going to log off the fucking game until the next batch of content comes out. And then that's going to leave the casuals and the new players like, where the fuck is everybody? There's no incentive to actually play anymore because they got the best in slot gear and they're done for all their classes. So there's a balance in place. There's no reason to keep crying and crying and crying. And if they do go the route of giving players more gear, they would have to go universal, meaning they would have to increase the amount of tombstone that we get from 450 to like maybe 800, and they would have to increase or decrease the amount of tokens we need to get certain pieces of gear from certain raids, if that makes sense. So that it would benefit everybody. This is only one path that they could take, which they may or may not take, though a lot of players are crying about the gearing situation, and I'm over here like, look, bro, it is what it is, all right? It keeps players playing. I mean, for the most part, most of the hardcore raiders do nothing but stand in Limbs of Lamensa and AFK or ERP in private chat. So, I mean, they ain't doing shit no ways, but that's a whole nother video. It's your boy Legacy.